A public defender is an attorney employed by the community and responsible for giving legal aid without cost to any person who seeks it and is financially unable to employ private counsel. It is his duty to defend those accused of crime until the issue is decided in a court of law. The first public defender's office in the United States was opened in January 1913. Over the years, other offices were opened. And today, that handful has grown to a network of lawyers cooperating to protect the rights of our clients. The age of retirement comes all too soon for most public officials. Jesse Caswell, Deputy Public Defender, was no exception. 5 days away from compulsory retirement, he awaits the verdict of his last case.
Taking into consideration all the evidence that's been presented, there's no doubt in my mind that the defendant is guilty, and I shall find. We'll continue this matter for 3 weeks. That will be the 17th for probation and sentence. Before adjourning, the court would like to take judicial note and bid farewell to Deputy Public Defender Jesse Caswell. He can retire, comforted by the knowledge of a lifetime spent upholding justice. The legal profession is going to miss him. Court will now adjourn until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Well, it's too bad you couldn't have won and gone out in a blaze of glory, Jesse.
Losing isn't what I mind. It's quitting. Well, thanks anyhow for the obituary.
With the 70th birthday only 5 days away, some men wouldn't bother reporting for work. But Jesse Caswell couldn't change the habit of a lifetime overnight.
Hello, Bart. Busy?
Oh, hello, Jesse. What are you doing here?
I have something for you.
I thought I told you to take a couple of days off to go fishing.
That's from my doctor's office. My annual report. Read it.
Blood pressure, 148/72. Heart action, normal, no murmurs. Pulse, 76. Respiration, 18. Reflexes, normal. General physical condition, excellent. Well, this is wonderful. Why the long face?
I'm in better condition than most men at 50. Now give me one good reason why I should retire.
What can I do, Jesse? Regulations.
But why can't they make an exception?
I'm sorry, Jesse.
I suppose you're going to give me a farewell dinner.
We are?
Complete with watch.
It's being engraved now.
Well, I already have a watch and plenty of time. Bart, what am I going to do with myself?
Fish, relax, enjoy yourself. Take a vacation.
I have enjoyed myself for 36 years right here.
Don't make it tougher for me, Jess. If I knew of a way to keep you on, I'd do it without your asking. Besides, like death and taxes, retirement must come to most men in public life. But I'll be willing to bet that inside of a week you'll be twice as busy as you ever were here. Well, I'll be calling on you from time to time for advice on some of these cases.
Who's that in this case?
Oh, it just came in. It's unassigned.
Breaking and entering, Dalton Tool and Die Company, John Dalton.
Haven't you poured over enough of these in your lifetime? Come on, hand it over, Jess.
Bart, this case was made for me.
Not a chance. Besides, it doesn't even come up on the calendar for 2 weeks, and by that time, you will be in the middle of some nice trout stream.
Who's going to hear this case?
Judge Harkness.
This will give me one more chance.
Come on, Jesse, hand it over.
Suppose I persuade Judge Harkness to move the trial up to Friday.
What am I going to do with you?
Nothing. I'm going to see the judge.
All right, Jesse. But you better leave the case history here until you make certain he'll advance the date.
I crammed Harkness through law school. I don't think he'll turn me down.
Jesse Caswell was right. Judge Harkness agreed to move the trial up to Friday, but told him not to expect clemency.
I'm not a thief, Mr. Caswell. I didn't steal anything.
Well, it says in the report you took a tour top attachment from the Dalton Tool Company. Did you?
I borrowed it.
You're charged with breaking and entering, and that's a felony.
I was going to return it right after the weekend. Bud Taylor, the shop foreman, will tell you.
You'll still get a year in the county jail and 1 to 10 if the judge decides to send you to the penitentiary.
You think that'll happen?
How long did you work for the Dalton Tool Company before you opened your own shop?
4 years.
Quit or get fired?
Fired. I wanted to be in business for myself. Right now, all I have is a hole in the wall. But I'm the boss, understand?
Yes.
Anyhow, I've been getting by, waiting for a chance to branch out. Figured if I could grab off some subcontracting jobs for the aircraft plants, I'd really get rolling. And I wouldn't stop until I had a plant 10 times the size of John Dalton's.
Want to be a tycoon, eh?
Any law against being ambitious? Anyhow, last Friday I had a chance to get off to a flying start. Ted Smith, contract engineer for Meteor Aircraft, dropped into the shop.
The purchasing department at Meteor has okayed your bid on these valves.
Great. How big an order do I get?
As much as you can handle. I'm your boy. These standard A&M landing gear fittings are a cinch. I'm glad to hear it. I have the Army and Navy breathing down my neck. I've got to have 1,000 by Monday.
Monday?
Sure. But that ought to be easy with your turret top. Where is it?
Well,
Don't tell me you didn't order one.
I'll have it, don't worry.
I never could have gotten your bid approved.
I said I'd have one, and I will. Just had to do a little promoting, that's all. It costs $900. That doesn't grow on trees.
But you are getting one.
Today.
Good. You get this order under your belt, and I'll throw another your way as soon as you can handle it. You won't fail me now.
You're darn right I won't. Let me take a look at my old machine. You know, this job for Meteor really got me started. How about buying the turret top attachment for the weekend?
You're a big man now. Why don't you buy one?
I'll be able to when I finish the job. You know, I used to use this baby all the time. Even put my initials on it.
But it belongs to the Dalton Company.
The plant's closed Saturday and Sunday.
Look, kid, it took me 10 years to get to be foreman here. I like my job, and I intend to keep it. And you know the old man's policy. Well, he's bugs on the subject.
He can afford to be.
You want a tip? Don't try to make $1 million. You're a good worker, Martin. If you want me to, I'll even talk to personnel. Maybe Mr. Reynolds will let me hire you back.
I'm in business for myself. One simple little attachment. Look, Bud, let me use this and I'll give you 10% of the job. Easy money without even lifting a finger.
No dice. Think it over, kid. And when you get tired of being your own boss, let me know.
All the rest of that day, I kept trying to figure an angle.
Ever hear of a business loan?
I'm over my head with a bank now for equipment.
What about your family?
Have none.
Friends?
How do you keep them once you borrow money? I even tried to promote a turret top demonstrator just for the weekend. No luck. All I could think of was the Dalton plant turret top. Just sitting there. You know the rest. What do you care? What's one case more or less in your life?
You're wrong, son.
What do you mean?
See you around. I may tell you someday.
With the thoroughness and patience of many years of investigation, Jesse Caswell began to find out about Alan Martin. After inspecting his small workshop, he called on Ted Smith, the contract engineer for Meteor Aircraft. He confirmed the subcontracting offer. From there, he went to the Dalton Tool Company and looked up Bud Taylor, foreman of the shop.
Mr. Taylor, are you willing to testify in court that Mr. Martin had come to you first and asked if he could borrow this turret top?
If you go to a bank and they refuse to lend you money, that doesn't give you a right to break in and steal it, does it? I only work here. Mr. Reynolds, a plant manager, is pressing the charges. I like Martin, but...
Have you ever been in business for yourself?
Once, but what's that got to do with it?
Failure?
Well, I decided I'd rather work for a large firm like Dalton. No headaches, steady.
I understand. But on the other hand, someone's got to start a little outfit so they can go on a big one like Dalton's here. Isn't that right, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, but...
Thanks very much. So, $900 for that, huh?
That's right.
That's more money than Dalton had his whole plant when he first started.
We believe in that slogan, Mr. Caswell. And since Martin has committed a crime...
Well, it's not that I condone his actions, Mr. Reynolds, but it's my experience that honesty has as many degrees as a circle.
What are you trying to say?
Well, just that a slogan is like a rule or regulation. Sometimes it's unfair to make it apply. Now, if this once, you could make an exception.
And violate the trust that Mr. Dalton's placed in me?
Well, as plant manager, do you have the final word?
That is our usual policy.
Unless, of course, Mr. Dalton sees fit to intervene.
He'd never do that. You're not going to try to see Mr. Dalton.
Why not?
He's jammed with appointments all this week. He's so busy.
I don't think he'll be too busy to see me.
But Mr. Caswell,
No more calls, please. I tried my best to avoid bothering you, John.
Jess, you couldn't have picked the worst time. I'm right in the midst of negotiating a vital defense contract.
Well, I'm negotiating a boy's future.
I'll be frank. It was unfair of you to take advantage of our friendship.
Friendship?
Well, I'll admit that we haven't seen each other as much as we might during the last few years.
The last 20 years, John.
Well, people drift apart, different interests, those things happen.
Now, if I'd been able to get anywhere with your plant manager, I wouldn't have disturbed you.
Reynolds reflects my attitude completely. I've spent a lifetime building policy, and he's right to enforce it. I can't interfere.
You mean you won't?
Well, if you choose to put it that way. Martin committed a crime, and he's got to pay for it. I've told you that Oh, all right. I'm on the way.
There's one more question, John.
What is it?
I wonder if you remember the first time we met.
Oh, yes, I remember it.
36 years ago, to be exact. Remember where? County jail.
But my case was dismissed in the interest of justice.
With the aid of a public defender. A fellow named Jesse Caswell, remember?
Yes, that's ancient history. It was a matter of justice.
Justice? I don't think you've learned the meaning of the word.
Oh, no.
Or maybe you think it's something special that begins and ends with you, John Dalton, tycoon, pillar of society, backbone of industry. Where would you be if your boss had turned his back on justice 36 years ago? Honesty is the foundation of success. You write beautiful slogans, John. Why? To ease your conscience? Or have you one?
Goodbye, Jess.
Late that same afternoon, a tired Jesse Caswell sat in my office and told me what had happened. I was more convinced than ever that I never should have allowed him to take this case.
What are you worried about? The case doesn't go to trial for 2 days.
Yeah, but you don't have a chance of winning. The law's all on Dalton's side.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to lose.
Now, you've been in this game too long to bank on personal friendship. Besides, you just finished telling me he won't intercede.
Only because I haven't found the right way to persuade him.
Now, in my opinion, the best thing to do is to plead extenuating circumstances, to hope for probation or a light sentence.
A man has to go to jail. There's no such thing as a light sentence.
Just what are you going to do?
I don't know. If I did, I'd be doing it.
Now, if you want me to take over for you,
I haven't hit the canvas and you've got me counted out.
just go home and get some rest.
I don't need any rest. I'm going to see Dalton.
Yeah, but you just spoke to him.
No, he spoke. I listened. Now I'm going to do the talking.
Have you ever taken no for an answer?
Not when I thought the answer should be yes. I may have said some things this afternoon, John, you didn't like, and I should have known better.
Is that why you came here, to apologize?
If you want to accept it as such.
When a man apologizes, he's made a mistake, and you pulled a whopper, lecturing to me as though I were some broken-down bum sitting in the tank at Lincoln Heights Jail.
Why did you bother to see me?
You know, the trouble with your kind is that you never stop to look yourselves over. 40 years of practicing law, and where are you? A deputy public defender. A few $1,000 a year, the hard way, with a rocking chair waiting for you at the end of the line.
What you think of me doesn't matter.
Neither does that nobody that you're defending.
I defended you once.
Well, who needed you? I didn't break in any place. I'm not a thief. I'm John Dalton.
John, dear. I'm sorry if I've interrupted.
You haven't. I've nothing further to say.
I gathered as much.
I'm Mrs. Dalton.
Jesse Caswell.
How do you do? John, aren't you going to offer Mr. Caswell a drink?
He's leaving, and so are we.
I've overstayed my welcome now. I'm very happy to have met you, Mrs. Dalton. I feel sorry for you, John. You have so much to be thankful for.
Next time I say we're leaving, don't question it. What are you sitting down for?
I told you, John, I don't like taking orders.
Are you going to start that business again? Come on, let's just get out of here.
What does Mr. Caswell do?
Big man, public defender. Lucy, are you coming or not?
Why did you need a public defender?
I didn't.
Why did you have to explain that you never broke in any place, that you were no thief?
I had to get something through his head. He represents that boy who tried to steal a piece of equipment from the plant. Wants me to intercede for him. You know how I feel about honesty.
I think I'm finally beginning to understand it.
Now, Lucy, I don't intend to stand here and...
Mr. Caswell said he was sorry for you. That's what I've been wanting to say for a long time.
What are you talking about?
You wouldn't understand. You're a big man who thinks he has everything he wants. But you've never found your place in the sun.
Well, that's fine talk coming from a secretary.
I'm your wife. Can't you understand that? You've given me everything I want, except the right to respect you. I know now why we're always running out, surrounded by people. It keeps us from facing each other and seeing how little we really have.
I don't know what you're talking about. If I'd known this was going to happen, I'd never have let that old man come in here.
Why did you need a public defender, John?
Oh, there's nothing to it. It happened 36 years ago. I'd just come back from the war, and I knew even then I was going into business for myself. The firm I worked for was supposed to give me a bonus, and when I tried to collect to get money to open my shop, they wouldn't pay.
Why not?
Well, they claimed I'd borrowed against salaries due before I went overseas.
Was that true?
A few $100. Without that bonus money, I couldn't open my shop, so I took what was rightfully mine.
And you were caught.
The case never came to trial. The boss realized an injustice had been done, arresting a veteran, and he dropped the charges.
And what about this boy Jesse is defending? Maybe this boy had a dream just the way you did.
Oh, Tommy Rod.
John, I beg of you, give Jesse the same chance to defend this boy as he did you.
Caswell did nothing for me.
He kept you out of jail. He made all this possible. And what do? Brush him off, humiliate him, just as you do me and everyone else who disagrees with you.
Are you through?
You haven't even heard me.
I'm going to that dinner party.
Then go alone and see how you like it.
Lucy. Reynolds, in view of my old friendship with Mr. Caswell and with this case coming up for trial tomorrow, I felt it expedient that we discuss this matter without any further delay.
As you wish, Mr. Dalton. I'm sure you know that I've reviewed this case with the district attorney. And with all due respect to Mr. Caswell, he feels positive of securing a conviction.
I understand, but,
Well, you're not suggesting that we withdraw these charges.
well,
Well, then perhaps there's some criticism about the way I'd handled this.
Oh, nobody's criticizing you, Reynolds.
Then, if I may speak freely,
By pressing this issue, Mr. Caswell, you've infringed upon the rights of friendship. Have I, John?
Mr. Caswell is merely doing his job.
And so am I, Mr. Dalton. Or is the purpose of this meeting to make it appear as though I personally were withdrawing these charges so that your slogan can remain sacred?
All right, that's all right.
I believe in that slogan. I believe in you. I believe in what you stand for. Now, have I been wrong? If so, then I prefer to resign right here and now.
Oh, there'll be no necessity for...
Thank you, sir. Will there be anything else? Then if you'll excuse me.
You have the ball again, John. Which way are you going to run now? The same way I've always gone?
Yeah. I guess we're both wasting our time.
Mr. Caswell, I hope John would send for you. Everything's going to be all right.
No.
He's not going to help you? And that boy? But I was so sure when I saw you here.
Thanks for trying.
Lucy, what are you doing here?
The Book of Quotations. You live by it, don't you, John? Honesty is the foundation of success. That's as far as you ever read. You should have turned the page. What shall it profit a man if he should gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
It's almost 10 o'clock, Jesse.
Yes, I know.
I hope you don't mind my coming down here this morning.
Figured I'd need moral support?
Well, no. Well, that is, I have a case in Department 82 at 10:30, and I thought I could kill some time here.
Everyone rise. Facing the flag of our country, recognizing the principles for which it stands, Department 87 Superior Court in and for the County of Los Angeles, California is now in session. The Honorable James J. Harkness, Judge presiding. Be seated.
Your Honor, in the matter of Alan Martin, Mr. Dalton of the Dalton Tool Company and Mr. Klein of the District Attorney's Office and myself have discussed this problem rather thoroughly, and at this time, I would like to move that the matter be dismissed in the interest of justice.
Do you concur in that motion, Mr. Klein?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
So ordered. Let the record show that on motion of the public defender and concurred in by the district attorney that the case of Alan Martin, number 184326, is dismissed in the interest of justice. Once again, and for the last time, I'm sure, the court takes judicial note of the efforts of Deputy Public Defender Jesse Caswell. Court adjourned.
Well, that night we gave Jesse Caswell a farewell dinner and a gold watch. Alan Martin continued in business for himself and is doing well. And Jesse is still practicing law as special counsel for John Dalton. The case you have just seen was brought to a fair and just conclusion through the efforts of a public defender.